Gentlemen, I don't know what this is. It looks like we just came out of the basement. Master.
Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of Master Betting. This is your co-host, Nugs, as always joined by my main man, Ferg. Ferg, how are you doing?
Oh, Nugs, the birds are chirping. The azaleas are in full bloom. We're looking for a really good episode of Master Betting right here, friends.
We are a big focus, Ferg. Well, before we get into the focus of the sports and what we love to talk about, but got to check in first. How you been? How's it been since we last spoke?
Oh, good, man. Good. I had a pretty good weekend. Had a lot of stuff going on. It was a jam-packed weekend. On Saturday, I went to the high school track meet. My buddy's friend is a sprinter, and so we went and watched her run. She did really well, hit a PR that day. Then we went and coached our flag football team to another loss, which I was not real pleased with. Anyway, I think the toughest part of our schedule is out of the way, so looking for some easier opponents coming up. And then prom was on Saturday night as well, and so went and did prom pictures with Peyton and sent her off with her friends to go do their thing. But it was
Did she have a date, or was it one of the girls stand united?
It was a big group of them. She did not have, I think, a specific date. I don't know if what you're trying to do with that question, but no, I don't think she had a specific date. But no, it was a big group of them. It was a really good, really good time. Got some pictures taken and then sent them off. And then Sunday, I did some hiking. Went up to Maxwell Falls, did a little hiking up there, a little 4-mile hike. It was fun.
Nice. Well, I wasn't trying to throw any sort of shade at your daughter.
No,
I'm just curious. I know, one, you're talking to someone who last minute at the buzzer got a prom date his senior year. Just the Hail Mary of all Hail Marys, got a girl to go with me.
Yeah.
But that was the only area I went to. I know, and girls are much more fortunate. Girls would go together in groups, and that's why I ask. I have no doubt that your daughter has the requisite, how do I say this politely?
She's a beautiful young lady, and she's a real sweetheart too. I know what you're trying to say.
Yeah. Thank you. I was going down a hole that I'm not sure I was going to be able to dig myself out of. But
yeah, I had to help you out there.
Well, much appreciated.
That's what we do as master bettors. We lift each other up, Nuts. We don't just leave each other, hanging out there
high and dry. You saw me like a leaf on that twig, and you came and saved me.
Yes.
About to blow away. But Ferg, I know a lot of the communication was, going into the Masters.
Yeah.
We both had our picks. We were, again, shout out to the graphics team, our marketing department. Another stellar weekend as far as output there. But
Ferg, I'll tell you what, I'm real proud of that. Our marketing department for that Masters series of posters they put out. I may be a little biased, but it was I liked it, man. I thought it was hot fire. Like we were spitting some hot fire there. But listen, we lacked engagement. I'll be honest, we lack engagement on our social channels. So this is my ask to you. If you hear our voices right now, go to our social media, Master Betting on Facebook, Master Betting 5280, Master Betting 5280 on Instagram. We've got a TikTok that we haven't used much yet, but look for some of that to come in the future, but especially with the introduction of videos and whatnot. But hit us on the social. Throw us a like, man. I'm sitting there. Our marketing team is sitting there creating these memes and these posters and trying to get some engagement. And, just throw us a like every now and again. We appreciate it, folks.
Ferg, a little bit of what I did see is, we're creating these posts and we're creating our bets and we're bringing it to the people. However, when we're throwing up some of these, and I think it's just due to the attention span of people these days with all the data, all the things out there, but some of these posters that we're throwing up on the stories, I see are getting traction. But folks, share it, spread the love, share the bets, and our marketing team's doing yeoman's work out there. So that's I'd like to see a little recognition. But Ferg,
we appreciate any and every engagement. So thank you.
100%. Well, I thought going into the weekend, I thought I was really excited about my picks. I thought, I used my analogy of a horse race, betting the show, picking the top three. I thought top five, Tommy Fleetwood, based off previous finishes, riding the hot hand from picking the NCAA tournament champion. I thought, the kid was blessed, but that was not the case. My pick burned out, and I was starting to ride Wyndham Clark, local boy. He burned out as well, but you surged late, as you should on a Masters Sunday. You were surging,
Yeah.
brother.
Yeah. Moving day was big for Colin Morikawa. My pick for the top 5 as well. I kind of followed your lead on that one. I thought that was a good bet on the top 5. I threw $10. That would have paid 94. And, he came out and shot a +2 on the first day. Shot a 74 on Thursday, and then followed it up with a 69, 68, 68. And he found himself in 7th place in the tournament. And there were 3 tied for third place. So 3 tied for 3. No, anyway, maybe there were basically 3 scores. His score was the 4th best score overall in the tournament. There was a -13, which is Rory. We'll get into that in just a second. There was a -11. Scotty Scheffler made a torrid run on moving day and tried to get up there, but fell a little short. And then you had a few more guys there at -10. And then Morikawa came in at -9. And so there were only 4 scores. There were 6 scores from 6 golfers. He was in 7th place. There were 6 golfers that had better scores than him, but that was a 13, an 11, and a 10. And there was multiple 10s. And so the way I look at it is his score was the 4th best overall score in the tournament. He was tied with a bunch of people at 7 too. So, but he made a run, man. He made it interesting. I was really, really hoping for that to hit on Sunday. I was rooting hard, man, when he got it to 7th place. And Justin Rose was at -10 on 17. Had he bogeyed, I believe that, that could have, I think maybe there was 2 guys that needed to bogey to get more confident in that top 5. So anyway, man, it was a great run. Fantastic Masters. Rory McIlroy took back-to-back green jackets. Again, another fire poster coming out on the Master Betting socials. But Rory McIlroy took the green jacket home again this year. Nugs, did you know about the green jacket? Do you know some of the rules on the green jacket and why the green jacket is the green jacket?
The rules on the green jacket. Well, do you have to keep it at the Masters? I mean, I don't know. I'll
Who gets a green jacket?
The winner of the Masters.
The winner of the Masters gets a green jacket, but every member of Augusta gets a jacket as well. And the meaning of the green jacket is so that they can be easily identified as members, so that guests can come to them with any questions or any, concerns or any, help the experience of the guest by being easily able to identify the member. And it also is who gets the check at the table. The guy in the green jacket. Yeah, you know what I mean? So that's the rules of the green jacket, or that's who gets the green jacket. The rules are, I looked this up because I was thinking to myself, there was a couple of Masters parties over the weekend and that I was invited to. I didn't actually make it because I was hiking and coaching football and stuff. But I was thinking about it. And I was like, oh, I'll wear a green jacket. But then I was like, are green jackets only for Sunday? But they're not. So you can wear a green jacket at any time, but it can only be worn on the premise of Augusta. The only exception is the winner, the reigning champion of the Masters event. They get to take that jacket home and they get to wear it anytime they want for that first year.
So it's kind of like the Stanley Cup, where each player gets an opportunity with the cup. Man, Ferg, I've got to ask, because I know that there has been some controversy regarding Augusta and kind of their rules of admission. You got to wonder, back in 1997, when Tiger Woods was walking around in a green jacket, must have had some of the older members turning heads a little bit. Look how far we have come.
You remember Fuzzy Zeller, first time that Tiger won the Masters, what Fuzzy Zeller said?
No.
You don't remember this.
Don't remember
Man, it
this.
was
Oh, man,
freaking
it was
national news. You may have been a little young, but Fuzzy Zeller, old fat golfer, just represents that old time, golf elitism. You know what I mean? Tiger won the Masters, and he was like, "Well, I wonder what he's going to serve at his champions dinner: fried chicken and watermelon." Oh yeah, oh yeah, buddy, that fucking happened. That fucking happened.
Damn. That is
Yeah. So I mean, you're not wrong, and that I believe Tiger's first Masters was like 2001.
1997.
97. He won back to back 2001, 2002. That's when I was getting that confusing. But so his first Masters was in 97. So you're talking about 1997, 28 years ago? Wonder what he's going to serve at his Masters dinner. Fried chicken and
Look how far
watermelon?
we've come, Ferg. Look how far
I
we've
know.
come. I know that they were trying
I
to
know.
deny Condoleezza Rice. Now she's a part ownership of the Denver Broncos, greatest sports franchise in the history of sports.
She's a
But
member.
She is?
Yeah, she's a member of Augusta.
Okay, I thought they were trying to deny her entry. I remember it was a newsworthy topic, but I mean, you can't really afford in this day and age in the cancel culture and the Me Too movement to be denying anyone, regardless of skin color, I guess, man, boy, girl, he, she, if your pocketbook is fat enough, I think you get in.
Yeah, well, I mean, I do understand that to a certain degree, but I do think as a private entity, you get to choose whatever the fuck you want to do, and so they can let in whoever they want. That's my thoughts on it. I personally wouldn't run it that way, but I mean, it's like you said. Here's the thing, Nugs, is I don't think there's probably very few individuals whose pockets are fatter than Augusta's.
No doubt. No doubt. Did you know that they have a greens team and a superintendent for every single hole there?
Wow.
Masters fun fact, their grounds crew employs over 700 people. So when people ask, how does this look so untouchable, so serene? They employ 700 people just in their grounds crew. They have a superintendent for each hole. So, I mean, it's overkill. It's insane. And they're paying a lot of salaries. And who's doing that? The members. So, again, it all goes back to the almighty dollar. But Ferg,
if I had the money, if you had the money, would you be a member of Augusta? If you had that kind of clout? I mean,
you got to have yacht money. I think I'd buy a yacht before I'd be a member of Augusta.
Mm-hmm.
You could play golf anywhere in the world with that type of money rather than just one course. But that's my take.
That's clout, boy. That's clout.
Sure how a transition this is, but it sparked so you're talking about how the champion is allowed to take their green jacket for the year and take it home and show it around. Well, I was actually reading a story about one Sergio Garcia who won it in 2017, 2018, and he did the opening kickoff so he's Spanish. So huge soccer rivalry in Spain is Real Madrid and Barcelona. He wore his Masters green jacket for the opening kickoff for, I believe it's called El Clasico. Huge soccer event. So when you said that, it triggered me to this story, and it triggered me to Sergio Garcia. Did you see his antics on Sunday?
That guy that is one thing I don't think Masters tolerates, is that kind of behavior. But it was bizarre. So I'll go through what I saw. Since you brought it up, I'll talk about it first. But I'll tell you what I saw, and then I will also give you the chance to add if I missed anything. But he hit a drive, and it didn't. I saw the tracker. It didn't look that bad, but I would have freaking taken it on.
You'd be high-fiving each other with that.
Yeah, exactly. I'd have been ripping fireball shots, So, anyway, didn't look like that bad a drive, but he slammed his driver down on the tee box and then went and snapped the head of it off on a water cooler. And then right after that happened, I think it was Scotty Scheffler. I can't remember who he was playing with. John Rahm.
Fellow Spaniard, John Rahm.
Okay, so I didn't realize he was a Spaniard, so it kind of makes sense, I guess. But John Rahm was like, his caddy was raking the sand trap, and Sergio grabbed the bag and just hucked John Rahm's bag up. It's a wild scene. And you know what? I've always kind of liked Sergio, and I'm not sure if this makes me like him even more, to be honest with you. I like a kind of a live wire, somebody you don't know what to expect from, you know?
I agree. I do like to see that on, and I do think that some of these courses, I mean, some of these golfers take the decorum a little bit too seriously, in my opinion. I do think the Masters is a different venue, but Sergio being a one-time major champion, and that is at the Masters, and I can't remember if it was 2017 and 2018, but this place obviously has a special place in his heart. He named his
Right.
firstborn child Azalea after the flowers at the Masters. So you'd think with someone who's naming their kid after a golf course and has so much pride in playing in the Masters to disrespect, I guess, but it didn't really disrespect me. I thought it was just funny how unglued this man became.
Yeah, he crashed out fully. You know, I tend to agree with you. Like, I've never snapped my club on a water cooler, but not because I didn't want to. You know, I just knew that I didn't have a driver for the next few seasons if I snapped the one I got, you know? So for me, I've never done, when I was a young kid, you know, in my early 20s, I was known for maybe the old putter toss, the Happy Gilmore putter toss. But no, man, I don't think there's really much room in the game for that level of basically smashing the tee box. You're disrespecting the ground, the hallowed Augusta ground, you know? Just my
I
thoughts. I
think there's
wouldn't do it.
I think there's definitely a give and take. Ferg, what is the worst thing you've done or you've seen done to a golf course or on a golf course?
I think we're past the statute of limitations on this, so I think I can tell this story.
Yeah,
But
let's hear it.
I've got I've been golfing a long time, and you know as well as I do that amateur golf involves a fair amount of alcohol
Beverages. Yeah.
oftentimes. Yeah, yeah. And so I've seen some stuff. There was a golf course back in Oklahoma when I was, like I said, my late teens, early 20s, and we were ramping the golf carts off, you know, trying to jump the golf carts. And I know at one point we did roll one of the golf carts and damaged the top of it and stuff. And I wasn't the one driving, but I did witness it. So I wasn't on the hook for it. But, you know, I've seen some damage to golf carts. I've seen, let's see, I have seen people, you know, throw their clubs into the drink, like just straight into the
Yep.
water or something. You know, I've seen that happen before. You know, what I haven't seen that I at some point I do hope to see, but not be a part of, is a nice golf course fight.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't seen a fight. I've been close to, so I haven't done anything like you said. I have crashed a golf cart and I consider that, you know, kind of rites of passage essentially on a golf course as a young man growing up and, you know, discovering what the perfect balance is between hitting a good tee shot, a perfect putt, how many beers you can have to really get you in that sweet spot. You know, there's
Right.
bound to be some casualties with a couple golf carts here and there, few putters lost, you know. It
Yeah.
happens. I have seen on one occasion someone hit into my dad, and the guy that we were with came back and he dropped 3 balls on the fairway and just laced them right back at the tee box at these people. And I thought, oh
Yeah.
God, here we go. You know, Bo's
Yeah.
about to punch was about to be thrown. Luckily that didn't happen. And then one time I was golfing with 2 of my buddies and we had that fourth. You always hope when you're golfing with 2 of your friends and you have that open fourth that they're just gonna
I
send
know.
you off. But we get a
Yeah.
guy that's coming with us, and for the full 18, on top of that, he's walking. So you got 2 golf carts, 2
I've
guys
been there.
linked up,
I have been there.
one guy in his own golf cart, and then another guy who's walking the course, and he's like, "You know what? I'm gonna have fun," and he's buying beers, we're buying beers. It's a good time. But his game slowly starts to deteriorate, and he went from being a jovial, talkative person, fun person to play with, to he starts getting real quiet. And it was probably around the 15th or 16th hole. He had one of those old blade putters. I wish, you know, it was one of the most basic putters. You know, it was like what you
Yeah, I
play
know
with at
exactly
putt.
what you're talking about.
Yeah, like what you played at a putt course. He has
Right.
that, and he missed probably. It wasn't like a super easy putt. It was probably 5 or 6 feet. You know, it wasn't a gimme by any means. He turns that putter down and just raises it above his head and smashes it into the green and buries the head of that putter probably 3 to 4 inches into the green, just gets up and he's like, I'm done for the day and walks off the course. One, it's like, dude, if the marshal key catches up with us, this is our liability. And we're going to say, oh, yeah, the guy drove away. Super
Right.
uncomfortable, super embarrassing, but just bet on that guy. That is breaking
Yeah,
decorum that I can't get on board
thousands
with.
of dollars. That's thousands of dollars in damage. Like you said, when you not every course has a superintendent for every green, but there's those guys out there hard at work and really putting in the effort to give us this pristine place to play, and then for one guy to disrespect it and fuck it up for everybody. I've seen it happen too, man. I've seen some pretty bad, some temper tantrums, if you will, on the golf course. But let's talk about Rory, the Masters champion. Congrats. Nugs, did you hear anything about some of the stuff with Rory leading up to the tournament?
I did hear some things, but we have not talked about this until right
Yeah,
now, live face to face.
exactly.
Speaking of which, folks, YouTube coming soon, face to face. See me and Ferg interact. But Ferg,
Yep.
I'm curious what you heard, and I'll tell you what I heard. Let's see if it aligns.
So basically, Rory McIlroy took the last 3 weeks off from playing in golf tournaments. One of those tournaments was in Houston, one was in San Antonio, and I can't remember where the third one was. But there was a press conference before the tournament started where he was saying, and which, first of all, I honestly don't really like that he said this, because I think it's bad press for these tournaments, which I don't think, as a golfer, your job is to make statements that could impact a tournament, like a tournament's existence even. And so he said, before leading up to the Masters, he said that he took the last 3 weeks off. He's like, first of all, I don't really like those tournaments. His words, I don't really like those tournaments. And I really wanted to, spend some time with my family. He was like, so there were days where I would go and drop Poppy, his daughter, I would go drop Poppy off at school. And then I would jump on a plane and I would go to Augusta and play Augusta and then be back home for dinner. I mean, talk about the life of a PGA superstar.
The Grand Slam champion.
I know. But this is not my own research. I saw this. And so if this number is incorrect, pardon me, but I do think that it's, no matter if the number is exaggerated, it's indicative of something that maybe is an unfair advantage. But he is the defending Masters champion. I don't think that PGA Tour members just automatically get to play Augusta, but I believe if you're the defending champion, you can kind of play it whenever you want. You got, I may be wrong on that, but he played Augusta 23 times in the last 3 weeks leading up to this tournament. Well, yeah. I think that kind of gives you a bit of an unfair advantage.
100%. Ferg, a couple things that come to mind. One that just came to my mind is there's only one way to, maybe we look at that next year. Maybe with Rory's going for a three-peat, we know that's what he's doing. I did hear, though, and I heard the exact same thing, so we are on the same page as far as what you're talking about. There is at least rumblings that I heard, shout out Altitude Sports Talk Radio, there is rumblings that there is a new commissioner or head of the PGA who wants to address this. Because I think that, yeah, from a competitive balance standpoint, completely unfair. And if you have these players that are playing and studying and getting used to different tracks, and they're coming out and, with maybe a few days of preparation, maybe a practice round at best at the Masters, and Rory has 23 of them, defending champion, I don't think it's right.
I don't either. And I know this. My ex-father-in-law worked as a groundskeeper, a greens guy at a local golf course, Murphy Creek, shout out. They did the U.S. Amateur Championship there several years ago. Ricky Fowler was in the field as an amateur, and I was at that event, and I believe he won that event as well. But I played Murphy Creek Golf Course. It's 5 miles from me, 6 miles from me. I've played that golf course a dozen times. And I played it the weekend before the U.S. Amateur Tournament was going on. And that course was fucking tougher than I had ever played a course in my life. That course, if you got anywhere off the short stuff, you were fucked. And I just remember thinking to myself, course is in, and actually I thought it to myself, my father-in-law at the time, he was like, hey, this course is in championship shape. You got to get out here and get to feel a championship course. And I did, and it was humbling. I'm not a good golfer. We've golfed together several times. I'm not what I would call a good golfer, but this was absolutely humbling. It was probably the worst round of my life.
I was gonna say like 130's bad.
I think it was definitely in the one.
Okay. Yeah, that's tough. I'd
Yeah.
be curious to play that, but that's good for you. Good
Yeah.
for you.
I mean, I broke 100 once this year, so it's not something that I'm not what I would call a good golfer, but I'm a mostly honest golfer. Nugs, okay? And
You're
so I don't shave strokes, I don't pencil whip, because at the end of the day, I feel like golf is a game that is you against you. And that goes to a lot of sports, but golf in general, it's you against you, man. My goal, of course, is to beat the people I'm playing against, but at the end of the day, I just want to be better each round, and I'm not.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see. We got to get out this year. It's been, I guess, we've been able to play golf year round here in Colorado. I have yet to take advantage of it, but one of these
Yeah.
days. But
I've got a
I
few
guess,
rounds in so far.
well, either way, shout out to Rory. Ferg, congratulations. You didn't hit that top 5, but you were ascending. I crashed out with Sergio. Tommy Fleetwood was top 5 after day 1, ended up
And day 2.
35th.
I think he
Yep.
was top 5 after day 2 as well.
And then all I know is +4s and ended up at 35th. So Tommy Fleetwood completely betrayed me, crashed out. And then Wyndham Clark, local guy, he was flirting with the top 5, ended at 21. So, Ferg, you were close, but no cigar. You were blade hairs, Masters grass away from that top 5. So overall, nice work. It's hard to when you have a
Thank
field
you.
of over 200 golfers.
It wasn't
You carried
200
the torch
golfers.
for us. What's
How
that?
about this? How about this? I got another low-key stat for you. And this was the stat after the first 2 days. If you didn't hear this, that 36-hole, 6-shot lead by Rory McIlroy was the largest 6-hole lead in Masters history. That's my understanding. And not only that, but there were 91 golfers in the Masters field this year, I believe. I know.
Oh, I was way off.
You were. There's 91 golfers in the Masters field this year. But I mean, I get why you're saying that. It seems like a ton of golfers, and it is, because 91 golfers is a lot of golfers. But there were 91 golfers in the Masters field this year. The guy who was first in driving accuracy the first 2 days was in first place. The guy that was in 90th place in driving accuracy after 2 days of the tournament was Rory McIlroy. So Rory McIlroy was having a historically bad weekend off the tee, and his short game was just spectacular.
Well, even when he came into Sunday, I thought he was on the 16th. He was over the back of the 16th green, and I thought it was a par 3. And I thought, okay, here's an opportunity, because I was rooting for Rory to fail, and I thought, hey, here's an opportunity for a bogey. Caleb Young, I believe his name was, or whoever was sniffing around after him.
Cameron.
Here's Cameron Young. This is going to make it more interesting. And he put that ball within a foot of the hole. Safe par. And yeah, great shot. But either way, another Masters below or behind us. And Ferg, got a shout out to the marketing team. Great posters, and look forward to the next major. But in between, we got some other high stakes sporting events coming up here, Ferg. But let's take a breather a little bit. And MLB baseball, a couple weeks into the season, and lots changed just in a week that we've talked. I think last time we spoke, the Rockies were 500, got swept by the Padres. A little bit of a lull there, but still exciting. What I'm going to share is some exciting news here in a minute that makes me want to go buy a Rockies hat. First time I've said that in probably a decade. But anything else catching your eye with baseball, Ferg?
It's early. It's a 162 game season. This season will stretch into September. And of course, the playoffs will go probably almost touch November. So, it's a long season for me. A couple of things. Yankees started out 8-2 and are 8-7. So they got a 5-game losing streak right now. Rangers. I'm wearing the championship gear. Rangers are in first place in their division, tied with the Oakland Athletics. Astros are in last place, so you kind of that's something. Pittsburgh is in first place. Pittsburgh has been a dumpster fire for quite a while. So, I think the Cubs are in last place in their division. That will change. I mean, they're only 2 games out, but that will change. So it's early, but through the first month of the season, Dodgers have the best record.
Shocker. Love being in a division with them. But for like I said, like I'd mentioned, and I'd spent all of baseball season last year shitting on the hometown team, the Colorado Rockies. However, I did see, and I was still skeptical because the Rockies got off to a decent start, got swept in their first series, but then won their first series of the away series of the year in April. Took them till August last year to do it. So they're showing signs of promise, beat the Astros, who over the past several years have been a contending team. I know I mentioned that they got swept by the Padres, but Friday, news comes out that the Penner Sports Group owns the Broncos, have just bought 40% in. And this now begs the question, how does this change the long-term landscape of the Colorado Rockies? And I think it's nothing but a positive thing, Ferg. Around town, you hear it all the time, and I'm one of them. I could not get behind the Rockies as long as the Monforts were running that team. Granted, they are still majority owners, and they're probably never going to give that up. But 40% of the stake in the Rockies is now controlled by the same team that's running the Broncos, and we've seen that turnaround. It's exciting, Ferg.
I completely agree. And, you brought that to my attention. I saw something, a headline about that. I told you. Yo, sorry about that, Nugs. Had some technical difficulties. I thought my computer was plugged in. It was. The cord was hanging from it. It just wasn't in the outlet, so sorry about that. Anyway, we were talking about the Rockies, new ownership group with the Penner family coming in and Walmart. And, you said that you thought it was overwhelmingly a positive thing with the Rockies, and I couldn't agree more. I think that it's been a long-term complaint from the city of Denver about the Rockies ownership. The Monforts ship off every high-profile player they get. They've done well, like getting people in the draft and getting prospects, and then they just ship them off as soon as they start to cost them money. And so we've seen what the Penner family has done with the Broncos. They're investing a lot. They've got a new state-of-the-art practice facility. They're building a brand new stadium. So, they're willing to invest their money into those teams. And I expect they're going to do the same thing here with the Rockies. And I think that Denver is an overwhelmingly huge sports town, and we deserve a good baseball team, man. It's been tough.
Absolutely, Ferg. One thing with the Broncos, to bring it back, and then you hit the nail on the head, they are spending the most amount of money on all the other things that is not a salary cap, that the constraints that they have to find themselves in. I mean, they came into a Russell Wilson situation, and granted, they still had to work within the salary cap, but $80 million of dead money was no big deal. One thing that was pointed out to me with the Broncos, Ferg, is that as far as analytics and team trainers and all the other things, even a coaching staff, there is no salary cap on a coaching staff. There's no salary cap on analytics people. So all the support, they are by far and away spending the most amount of money. And you look at baseball, and tell me if I'm wrong, but, I mean, analytics is bleeding into every single sport. But I feel like analytics in baseball, it's more prevalent in baseball than any other sport. So focus on any other department. I mean, I think that the support behind the organization is going to be a game changer. It might not happen today, might not happen tomorrow, but I'm excited for the outlook of the Colorado Rockies, Ferg.
Same, brother. Same. I can't wait to see it. I love it when the Rockies are good. That Rocktober, when the Rockies went to the World Series against the Red Sox, ultimately got swept. That was one of the most electric times in Denver sports history. And I've been here for Super Bowl wins, and I've been here for Stanley Cup wins.
I'd say top 3 sports moments that I've been a part of, 100%. So Look forward to that, Ferg. It's awesome. But like we talked about, long baseball season, a lot to talk about when we get to the dog days of summer. Folks, that's all you're going to be hearing about from me and Ferg for the most part. So let's move on to bigger, better things. Keep forgetting about the World Cup. That's coming up here in June. And around June, we'll be crowning a champion in the NBA and a champion in the NHL. Ferg, I know that you are much more accustomed to talk NBA, so I'm going to start a little bit here with the NHL. We'll close out with the NBA. But NHL, Avs come away with the President's Trophy. The Stanley Cup playoffs run through Denver as long as the Avs are alive. And right now, the way it stands, they are plus 375 odds to win the Stanley Cup. And Ferg, I'm going to say it here first because we both like and we take a lot of pride in the picks that we make. And this isn't going out a limb, a little bit chalk, but I think the Avs get it done this year. And I think they raise Lord Stanley's Cup here come June.
Well, again, I mean, when you talk about top moments, I mean, those Stanley Cup wins, those are pretty electric as well. It's a pretty good time to be in the city of Denver. I'm in alcohol sales, and so those are fun times, man. You usually see a spike in numbers when your team's doing well in the playoffs. So looking forward to that as well. And that's the West. I mean, you know, you got Avalanche and the Stars in the West. I think they're, in my opinion, the clear two best teams. Yeah. Playoffs are playoffs, and you know anything can happen. But I think they're the clear two best teams in the West. And you know, I've long said this on the podcast. I am more of an Avs fan than a Stars fan. I will root for the Stars, but I think I'm with you. I mean, just what I've seen from the Avalanche this year in the little that I follow and watch, I do bet on it, and so I try to keep an eye on that. And the Avalanche are outscoring people at a pretty good clip. I mean, they're really a machine, man. And so I'm with you. My money's going on the Avalanche to win it all as well.
So we stand united. So, folks, hop on at plus 275. Quick, you know, $10 get $27, $100 get $270. But
who do you think's going to be in the Stanley Cup Finals with them?
So here's where I'm not going to go chalk. So the two favorites in the Eastern Conference are the Tampa Bay Lightning, I believe at plus, I had this written down, bear with me, Ferg, plus 400 odds to reach the Stanley Cup, and then the Carolina Hurricanes plus 475 to win the Eastern Conference. Tampa Bay Lightning, that's who the Avs beat back in 2022 to win the Stanley Cup. But Ferg, my dark horse pick to win the Eastern Conference is the Buffalo Sabres. And right now they are plus 700 odds to make it out of the East. Ferg, Buffalo Sabres have not been to the playoffs in 15 years. And I'm just telling you, maybe it's not a homer pick. I want to see that barn for 3 rounds in the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Sabres, the hottest, arguably, team since about December, January. They started off, fired their coach. They were a 500 team. Now made the playoffs for, again, like I said, the first time in 15 years. We've seen how Buffalo shows out for the Bills. With having a drought that long, man, I think Buffalo is going to do it. Like I said, plus 700 odds. I think they're the third or the fourth as far as the odds go to make the Stanley Cup in the East, but I'm going Buffalo. Buffalo Avs in the Stanley Cup final.
I've got a different dark horse here, Nugs. I like your reasoning. I like what you're saying about Buffalo, and that's a nice little Cinderella story for a mid-market team. So good luck to the Sabres, I guess. But I'm going a different direction with my Eastern Conference champion. Can you guess?
Are you going the gritty and you're going the Philadelphia Flyers?
No, close though. Same state. Pittsburgh Penguins, baby. Pittsburgh Penguins. I'm looking for the Pens to take it.
All right. Well, you know what their odds off the top of your head? You get a chance to look it up?
I haven't looked it up. I can do that while we're on the line here. Here's my reasoning. Pittsburgh was in jeopardy of actually missing the playoffs a couple of weeks ago, and they're 7-10 in their last, or 7-3 in their last 10 games. They are in the last 10. There's, I think there was another team that was sitting there at what was I going to say? Anyway, there was another team that was close there, 8-2 in the last 10 games. But they're 7-3 in the last 10 games. They're playing well. Malkin is playing well. I do know that Sid is potentially not going to be back for the playoffs, but I think they are playing really good hockey right now. So I'm going with the Pittsburgh Penguins in the East.
Love it. Sid the Kid, he is back. He got injured at during the Olympics, but he is back. So,
He is back. Okay. Even better, man. Even better. Love that.
and they have been streaking. So, all right, you heard it here first. I got the Sabres. Ferg's got the Pens. Either way, they're running into an unstoppable force of nature in the Avalanche.
Plus
So I have
3,000 odds on the Pens to win the
Ooh.
Stanley Cup.
Okay, so they're probably plus 1,500 then. 'Cause that's
Ish,
what I
yeah.
noticed. Plus
Yep.
1,500 to win the East. All right.
Yep.
Ferg, from a betting perspective, I'm kind of rooting for you. But like I said, and really with the Sabres, yeah, I'm picking them to come out of the East. But I just want to see that building because, man, I've said it here first, and I'm not sure you completely agree, but those buildings in the NHL playoffs get rowdy.
Bro, I've been to the deepest I've been to a game in the NHL playoffs is I went to a second round, first game of the second round, Avalanche versus the Blues a few years back, and bro, that's one of the best sports experiences of my life. That was a great. Avalanche won. It's one of the best games I've ever been to, and I've been to playoff hockey games prior to that. I hadn't been to one since, but every playoff hockey game I've been to has just been electric. I gave Von Miller pounds when he was leaving the bathroom. Just knucked him up.
Dude, friggin' Von Miller, Michael Irvin, you got the magic touch.
Mark Cuban, you know who Terry Glenn is?
Oh, remind me. The name, I know the name, but
Wide receiver. He played for the Cowboys. He played for the Jets, I believe. Ohio State guy. I met him on my wedding day in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Got a picture with Terry Glenn. I'm just a man about the globe. I'm a kind of a globe trotter, if you will. And I see people, I meet people, and the pleasure's theirs.
right on. Right
The
on.
pleasure's
We got
not
our
yours.
well, all right, we got our NHL picks. Ferg, now getting a little bit more into your wheelhouse. And speaking of electric atmospheres, not really. We got the NBA playoffs coming up, starting with the play-in games. And,
Yeah.
and Ferg, I got something here before we really get into, because no matter, in my opinion, no matter who wins these play-in games, they stand no chance in either league. I know that the last team to really make a run was the Miami Heat when they were in a play-in game, made it all the way to the finals, got lost eventually to the Denver Nuggets. Shout out Yoke and the boys. But Ferg, you have Steve Kerr of the Golden State Warriors saying that he's going to rest some of his players for this play-in game. What it's looking like is what used to be a really engaging kind of what do I want to say a new format added that brought a lot of excitement. You have these teams that we want no business going and playing the number 1 seed, number 2 seed. So you have the Golden State Warriors bowing out already before they even start playing a play-in game.
Okay, that's absolutely ridiculous. I know Steph Curry's been out for a good portion of the year and whatnot, but are you fucking serious? You're not going to put your best team into potentially the end of your season. You're not going to put your best foot forward and try to continue your season. And that Nugs is one of the problems I have in today's sports is this kind of mentality. Like I'm a guy. I'm trying to compete to the end.
100%.
So I just don't get that, man.
And amidst all the tanking and the NBA try to figure out the tanking, now you have these play-in teams saying that we're not even going to try to make it into the playoffs. Kind of dilutes the product and the whole play-in tournament. So
Yep.
We'll see. Regardless, Ferg, Saturday, the next time we talk, we will be into the NBA playoffs. And I'm not sure if you had a chance to look, but I like the NHL playoffs. I think I have my team set for the NBA finals. And I'm going to admit, it pains me to admit what I got, but have you looked at any of these to start?
Yeah, no, I've definitely been paying attention as the season's going on and whatnot. And, man, I'm going to take a couple of teams that may not be the favorites. I really don't like OKC going back to the final this year. So, because I believe it's a very difficult thing to do. It's not just because I'm not a fan of the Thunder. I just think going back to the NBA Finals is not an easy task. I'm going San Antonio. I'm going with the Spurs to come out of the West. I think Wemby is having a fantastic year, and I think this is a time for him to showcase it. And then in the East, I don't know, man. It's between Boston and New York for me.
Yeah.
And I'll lean Boston. I like Tatum. I like Brown. I'm listening,
That's
guys.
what-
I got to get a tissue real quick. Tell me what you think, bro.
So I kind of went chalk. I mean, I think the first couple of rounds, when you look at the first round, you have, I'd say in the Western Conference, the most competitive series is going to be the Timberwolves and the Nuggets. The Timberwolves have been a thorn in the Nuggets side. However, this year with the Nuggets being, I believe, minus 370 odds to pull it out, I think the Nuggets are going to carry on from that first round. And I believe the Spurs are going to beat whoever. I believe it's between the Suns and another team. Doesn't matter. The Spurs are going to advance after the first round, which is lining up for a Spurs-Nuggets second round. And Ferg, this is where I do disagree with you, is Spurs-Nuggets second round. The Spurs, got a little stat, have been 30-4 in the last 34 games. I believe it was since the All-Star break. 30-4. Of their 4 losses, 3 of those have come in the hands of the Denver Nuggets. So I like the Nuggets to advance to the Western Conference Finals, and now this is where it pains me to say. I do think the Thunder make it back to the finals. I think it's Thunder, Celtics in the finals this year, and I think the Thunder go back-to-back. And going more chalk in the NBA, but Celtics out of the East, Thunder out of the West. Give me Thunder. Plus 155 odds, so they are the clear-cut favorite, but that's who I'm taking. That's what I'm sticking to. Pains me to say, but they're deep, man. They are deep.
Well, as far as the winner goes, I kind of just put myself in a bit of a sticky situation because I don't think Wemby's going to win it in his first trip to the finals. So I do have Spurs Celtics, but I think it's going to be a Celtics taking
Celtics
it all.
championship.
Yep.
Alrighty, so we differ a little bit in the NBA. We're aligned pretty well in the NHL. Let's see how that plays out. But either way, Ferg, it's upon us. NBA, NHL playoffs still. A lot of exciting. And every night you got something to watch, something to bet on. So make sure you are checking out our social media channels because you're going to see our bets way more often than a once-a-week podcast.
Yeah, 100%. Motherfucking clack, get on it, man. Let's start building that bankroll and stacking some cash.
Ferg, as always, it's been a pleasure. You got anything else for the people?
Yeah. A little teaser for next week. NFL draft's coming up. So Nugs and I are getting in the lab. We're going to look at the NFL draft, catch some hot stories, see what we got for you on next week. But we're going to bring a little NFL news. It'll be nice, man. We haven't talked about the NFL in a couple months.
It's been a minute. It's back. The clock keeps on going. And Ferg, it's always been a pleasure, but follow us on social media. Show us your bets. We'd like to see some engagement, and we'll be showing them right back to you. Well, show us your bets. You show us yours.
Click, clack.
Gorilla Pop, take us out. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what this is. It looks like it just came out of the basement. Master.